Good afternoon. It's Friday, 26th of February. I'm back in the reading nook and I am delving further into this parcel. Previous videos you will see me pull out titles from Chaosium, but particular titles from Chaosium. So far, let's look. Get with bestiary. Troll pack. Griffin Mountain, and in the previous one, put up Parvis. So you'll have got the idea that all of these are reprints from RuneQuest II, back in the early 80s, from Chaosium, that have been made available for as print on demand books, which you can order direct from Chaosium. Which you can either play using either your old version of RuneQuest II or the version that's available now, which is RuneQuest Classic. Of course, if you want to put the effort in, the other option is to update to RuneQuest role-playing in Glorantha. And there's plenty of role-playing content in all of the books I've pulled out so far. And the next one is a version of another box set, which is the companion to Parvis, Big Rubble. So here we go, Big Rubble. Let's have a look. Big Rubble, the Deadly City. The Big Rubble is the perfect hunting ground for both prospective and veteran adventurers. From the relative safety of the frontier town of New Parvis, exploration parties may venture forth into the rubble to once again tap the treasures and magics buried in its ruins. They will be aided and hindered by the guards and bureaucrats of the occupying Lunar Empire. The Big Rubble is a vast area enclosed by giant built walls of solid stone. Once it was the site of Rob Cradle, an ancient Drusteli city, and then it held the magnificent capital of the hero Parvis. Only thousands of acres of ruin and destruction now remain, full of robbers, outcasts and inhuman monsters. The Rebel Guide provides background describing the creation of the ruins, tells of major areas within the giant walls and 49 points of interest within those areas, examines the vegetable guardians of the Elven Garden, hints at how to get in and out of the rubble, illustrates 4 types of rubble ruins, contains general and specific encounters, and reveals the cult of Yelonora. The 9 scenarios in the episode section explore some of the many exciting places within the rubble. Griffin Gate is the main entrance for legal adventuring parties, and this scenario includes 3 separate episodes occurring within the gate area. Wolfhead's Lair, Raid in Yelona, the Devil's Playground, Krang's Table, and the Puzzle Canal introduce the manifold tribes and gangs who survive through incessant raid and plunder within the rubble. Temple at Feroda takes the adventurers south beyond the walls to the mouth of the Solarfell River. Each of the adventures requires 1 or 2 evenings to complete. Dozens of additional scenarios will develop as sidelights from the 9 given here or from the plentiful descriptions provided. Several official Lunar Empire forms have been included to license and annoy hapless adventurers. No one is allowed back into the safety of New Parvis while there is adventurers' license, and few except the trolls, elves, brews and ogres dare to live in the rubble. So what you've got here is a giant adventuring playground. It is a companion to the supplement Parvis, because you basically typically you're going to be using Parvis as your base. You're working within the constraints of the lunar bureaucracy, going back and forth into the reaches of Big Rubble. So in the Parvis video I showed you this, which is the classic map showing New Parvis, and then you've got the Big Rubble beyond. This is basically the giant wall city, or the remains of the city. Then we have Friends of Prague. So basically, here are the forms that some of the characters will have to fill in just to go adventuring. That's the idea, essentially. Okay, yeah, we don't mind if you go adventuring, but we want to know what you're up to, okay, and where you've been, what you've been doing. And Yelona, the Starbringer, is the daughter of Yelm and the Sun God, and you've got an elder, and you've got a complete description of the cult here. And you've basically got a better map of basically the Big Rubble area. So what we've got here is, just to give you some sense of scale, there's New Parvis, and there's the old city. Just how big it is. and going through the descriptions of the area, and again you've got some content about New Parvis. So there's the map you saw essentially. So there's the it should actually be like that. From, if you have a look at the image I showed you, there's the back of the wall where it butts onto the big Rubble. So yeah, you've got nice panoramas here of the ruins to be found within the city, I'm sorry, basically in the big Rubble rather than the city. And we've got discussions of points of interest, like famously Ballastor's barracks. At this landmark, Ballastor, last king of Parvis, died. It was maintained the reputation over the centuries as perhaps the most dangerous underground area in the Rubble, and that's actually available separately. Ballastor's barracks as a dungeon, and it's available as essentially as a part of the classics pack. And it's a little bit, I would suggest that it's probably a bit dated in terms of its content and design. I don't know necessarily what a RuneQuest dungeon would look like these days, but if you're playing old school RuneQuest, fine, then it's perfectly playable. We have discussion of Brew in here as well, who pervade the area. So we'll keep going through Gargoyles, Big Gangs, episodes for the for the GM to run. So Griffin Gate, it's a scenario comprised of a number of smaller scenarios, all set in the area of the Rubble known as Griffin Gate. And the major item of interest in the region is Ballastor's barracks, wherein is hidden the fabled axe of Ballastor, one of the 17 foes of Waha. There are other areas to explore, a residence to distract the enterprising player characters. So, for example, a ruined tenement. Here we go. Just simple little encounter like that, and inside there is basically zombies and other creatures. And we do actually have Ballastor's barracks plan in here as well. Okay, then we go on to Wolfhead's lair, and this is basically Wolfhead is one of the better members of the Parvis criminal element. We have an illustration of him along with his cousin Griselda, and some of you will remember me reading the short stories by Oliver Dickinson, which tell of Griselda. I should get back to reading this at some point if I can find some time. Then we get basically we have the raid on Yalorna, another scenario, format of the temple. Devil's Playground. Basically, we have the characters are summoned by a Parvis cult priest. Parvis is basically has its own city cult, and essentially because this is the Devil's Playground, and you are dealing basically with a craft shrine, then probably you would want basic cults of terror for the background in there. Basically we have Krang's stronghold. Let's see, Krang's table, basically another adventure dealing with trolls and so on from what I can see. So the artwork in here is great. Yeah, basically a trollkin there. And lastly we get down to just turn the page, the puzzle canal. Essentially basically a maze-like complex there just upon first viewing. So going through, we've got the last one, we've got Temple at Feroda. Basically all the characters that are hired by Zola Fell priests, most august and glorious god of the river cradles. And the thing is, to be honest, this really doesn't stand alone. You can use it in that capacity, but really it goes with Parvis. You really want to get the two together to have the adventures in New Parvis, basically in the new city, and then Old Parvis, the big Rubble, and have them go, the player characters go back and forth and play through sort of like the campaign. But obviously the last adventure basically connects through to Zola Fell, and there's the River Cult, which runs past New Parvis, and essentially that ties into the big scenario about the cradle at the end of the Parvis supplement. So yeah, those two together, and what you have there is a big sort of like sandbox style campaign you can put together from the content in these books. Anyway, in the meantime, if you have enjoyed this unboxing of the Big Rubble, please click the like button down below. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. If you have feedback or questions, please take the time to comment. And if you want to see more of these videos, do subscribe. I will be posting them on a regular basis. I will be making them on a regular basis as soon as the weather holds out. I will be out here with a new book and a cup of tea. Basically just chatting about stuff and the things that I've got I received through the post, or I've got in my gaming collection. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I will be back again very soon with another unboxing in the Nook.